Hi everyone! So I did my project on crochet, and for this project I'll include the history of crochet, my crocheting experience, and the strategies I use. So now let's get into the timeline. So we start off in 1812 with a book called The Memoirs of a Highland Lady, and this was by Elizabeth Grant, and it mentions something called shepherd's knitting, which isn't exactly crochet, but it's similar, and it's the first known book of crochet. Then we go into a magazine called Penelope in 1824, and this talks about slip-stitch crochet, which was actual crocheting, but it was still a bit different than what we have today. Then we go to 1835, where the Netherlands and Germany make a crochet bag pattern, and it becomes really, really popular. And then in 1846, crochet kind of takes on a new look, because in this time, Spanish lace was very popular, so England copied the patterns, and crochet kind of turned into almost lace making. And following with the lace pattern, in 1847 to 1849, the Irish potato famine was happening, and Irish lace was sold to feed people. And then in 1850s, crochet became a lot cheaper, and women had more time around the house, and so it becomes a very popular hobby for people. Then we go to 1886, where the DMC Guide to Needlework is published, and it has information on crochet as well as knitting and other forms of needlework like sewing. Then 1910 to 1920-ish, the Edwardian fashion style becomes popular, and so there's more detail in crochet, and again you can see it take on that like lace look. Then we go to pre-World War II, and it's not very popular. It's pretty much forgotten. It's not a hobby that people have anymore. But post-World War II, it becomes popular again with more crafts happening at home. Then we go to 1960 to 1970, and this is the peak popularity of crochet. And the granny square is invented. As you can see on this vest, it was common with celebrities and stuff. Then 1994, Gwen Blakely Kinsler, who's shown there, makes the Crochet Guild of America. And that's just kind of a way for people who crochet to really come together and like share their experiences. Then we get to more modern day with 2007, a site called Ravelry is released, and it's a yarn-related website, so there's things like patterns on there, there's people who do the crocheting and knitting and sewing and anything like that. And so that just kind of really helped make crochet a lot more widespread. And then 2009, something called yarn bombing started happening, and it was plain crocheted and knitted items around cities, and that also brought a lot of popularity to crocheting. So now that we've seen the history of crochet, let's look at my journey of my crocheting. So we start off with my materials, which are actually pretty simple. I got yarn from Walmart and a variety pack of crochet hooks of all different sizes because I had no idea what I needed. So this was my goal, just a simple square and something small because I was not expecting much. So surprisingly, it is really hard to tie a slip knot, like really hard. But I eventually did get it with support from multiple people. Shout out to Haley, Emily, and Chloe for being my support group. Then, this was rough. I had the wrong sized hook and I couldn't properly hold the yarn, so my yarn was twisting and flipping and it just made this like spiral type of thing. But for first attempt, you can see the like chain happening. Then I cleaned up my chain, I made it a lot longer, and I decided I was ready to move on to the next row. So I got done a single crochet, which is a chain and then a row on top of that chain, and then it was just repetition time, kind of like a ladder. So once you have the chain, then you make a single crochet, and then you put another crochet on top, and then that's 2 crochets. And then I finally made a square. And let me show that real quick. So it's small, but it definitely did work, and it's a good start. Ooh. That back. So how did I do it, and what strategies did I use? Well, I started off. Okay, so that's what the square looks like. So now let's look at my strategies. So I first tried YouTube, but they were very confusing videos, there weren't enough directions, and it was really hard to find good videos for what I wanted to do. So since YouTube didn't work, I needed a new strategy, and I was just lost. So I asked Chloe to help me, because she knows how to crochet, she's my friend, and she's really good at explaining things. So now let's get into the method that she used to teach me, which I call the MERP method. First off, I don't know if it's going to work. I use the computer. So first off is model it. Whether it's a YouTube video or a person, see how it's done and then replicate that. And it's just kind of like explaining by example. Then we have error analysis, which is just figure out what's wrong and correct it. So see when I put something through the wrong hole, use the wrong hook, and just kind of correct it. Then we have repetition, because practice makes perfect. You just have to practice, 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 and eventually you will get better at a skill. Finally, we have positive reinforcement, because the only way I got through this was from compliments of how good I was doing, being told like I was really making improvement and that my work was good. So the MERP method. And that's all. Thank you.